Hello students, last class I have started with DMA, that is direct memory access. In that I discussed about what is DMA and what is the importance of DMA and what is DMA controller, and I have discussed different registers in a DMA interface, and also I discussed about use of DMA controller in a computer system, right? So what is DMA? So it's very simple. DMA is a special control unit which is provided to allow the transfer of a block of data directly between an external device and the main memory without continuous intervention by the processor. So this approach is known as DMA or direct memory access. So as I told, here in DMA a conflict may arise if both the processor and a DMA controller or two DMA controller try to use the bus at the same time to access the main memory. So to resolve these conflicts, an arbitration procedure is implemented on the bus to coordinate the activities of all the devices requesting the memory transfer. So that approach is what the bus arbitration approach here, which is used to resolve the conflict between the processor and DMA controller, or between two DMA controllers which are trying to use the same bus at the same time to access the main memory. So let me discuss this bus arbitration procedure in detail. So in bus arbitration, the device that is allowed to initiate the data transfer on the bus at any given time, so that is known as bus master here. And when the current master it will initiate the control of the bus, so in that case another device can acquire this particular status. So here is what the bus master concept. So what is bus master? Bus master, basically it is a device which is allowed to initiate the data transfer on the bus at any given time. So that device is known as bus master. So when the current master it initiate the control of the bus, then another device can acquire that particular status. So bus arbitration is the process by which the next device to become the bus master is selected and the bus mastership is transferred to the other device. This is how the bus master process work. Here the selection of the bus master must take into account the need of various devices by establishing a priority system for gaining access to the bus. Here there are two approaches to bus arbitration. One is centralized arbitration and other one is distributed arbitration. In centralized arbitration, a single bus arbiter performs the required arbitration, whereas in distributed arbitration, all the devices will participate in the selection of the next bus master. So that is what the two arbitration approaches. One is centralized and one is distributed arbitration. So I will discuss them one by one. So first I will discuss centralized arbitration, right? Here the bus arbiter may be the processor or a separate unit which is connected to the bus. As you can see in this particular figure, right? So in this figure, that is figure 4.20. So this figure illustrates a basic arrangement in which the processor contains the bus arbitration circuitry. In this case, the processor is normally the bus master unless it grants a bus mastership to one of the DMA controller. Here a DMA controller indicates that it needs to become the bus master by activating the bus request line, that is a BR bar. So this is what the bus request line here, right? So here DMA controller indicates that it need to become the bus master by activating this bus request line, that is BR line. So this is an open drain line here for the same reasons that the interrupt request line. So here it will work same as the interrupt request line, that is the bus request line is almost same as the interrupt request line, which is an open drain line, means it is open, any device can access this particular line. Here the signal on the bus request line is the logical OR of the bus request from all the devices connected to it. So when the bus request is activated, then the processor activates the bus grant signal, that is a BG signal, right? So initially it will means first it will activate a BG1, that is bus grant signal, so which is indicating to the DMA controller that they may use the bus when it becomes free. So this signal is connected to all the DMA controllers using a Dicey chain arrangement. As you can see, this arrangement is a kind of Dicey chain arrangement which I discussed in one of the previous class. So these lines are connected as in Dicey chain arrangement. Hence, if the DMA controller 1 is requesting the bus, then it blocks the progression of or propagation of the grant signal to the other devices. Otherwise, it passes the grant down the stream by asserting BG2, that is next bus grant signal. Here the current bus master indicate to all the devices that it is using the bus by activating the another open collector line, which is known as bus BG line, that is BBS1. Means when this DMA controller is using the bus, then it will indicate the other devices that it is using the bus. So that indication it will give through this line, that is the bus BG line or bus BG signal. And hence after receiving the bus grant signal, a DMA controller waits for bus BG to become inactivate. Then it assumes a mastership of the bus. At this time, it activates a bus BG to prevent the other devices from using the bus at the same time. So that is what the importance of bus BG line. It will avoid or it will prevent the other devices from using the bus at the same time. Here as you can see the timing diagram below, that is figure 4.21, this indicates or this illustrates the timing diagram. So this timing diagram shows the sequence of events for the devices in the above figure, as a DMA controller 2 request and it acquires the bus mastership and later it releases the bus. During its time or while it is using the bus as the bus master, it may perform one or more data transfer operations depending on whether it is operating in the cycle, stealing or the block mode. After it releases the bus, the processor assumes the bus mastership. So this figure shows the causal relationship among the signals involved in the arbitration process. The details of timing which will vary significantly from one computer bus to the other computer bus. Here the above figure, that is figure 4.20, shows one bus request line and one bus grant line which will form a daisy chain arrangement. Here several such pairs may be provided in an arrangement which is similar to that are used for the multiple interrupt request which was discussed in the previous class. So this arrangement leads to a considerable flexibility in determining the order in which requests from the different devices that are served or serviced. The arbiter circuit ensures that only one request is granted at any given time according to a predefined priority scheme. For example, if there are 4 bus request lines, that is BR1, BR2, BR3 and BR4. So if there are 4 bus request line, then a fixed priority scheme may be used in which BR1 is given the top priority and BR4 is given the lowest priority. Alternatively, a rotating priority scheme may be used to all the devices an equal chance or an equal priority of being serviced. So rotating priority means that after a request on the line BR1 is granted, then the priority order becomes 2, then 3, 4. After that, then comes again the priority, that is 1 for the BR1. So it is like a round robin, or it is in a rotation fashion, that is a rotating priority, which will give chance or which will give priority to all the devices. Means it will give the equal chance or equal priority to all the devices to use the bus or of being serviced. So this is about the centralized arbitration, right? Then the next arbitration approach is distributed arbitration. So distributed arbitration means that all the devices waiting to use the bus have the equal responsibility in carrying out the arbitration process without using a central arbiter. Here there is no master concept, whereas all the devices which are waiting to use the bus, they have the equal responsibility in carrying out the arbitration process. So that is what the distributed arbitration approach. Here a simple method for the distributed arbitration is illustrated in this particular figure. As you can see, this is how the distributed arbitration scheme performs, right? Here each device on the bus is assigned a 4-bit identification number or 4-bit ID. When one or more devices request the bus, they assert the start arbitration signal and place their 4-bit ID numbers on the 4 open collector lines, right? As you can see the IDs, and so these are what the IDs, and they will put, the device will put their 4-bit ID on these 4 open collector lines. So when one or more devices request the bus, so they will assert the start arbitration signal and place their 4-bit ID numbers on 4 open collector lines, that is from AR-B0 to AR-B3 bar. Here a winner is selected as a result of the interaction among the signals that are transmitted over these lines by all the contenders that you can see. Here the net outcome is that the code on the 4 lines represent the request that has the highest ID number. That is important. Here the drivers are of the open collector type. Hence, if the input to one driver is equal to 1 and the input to another driver connected to the same bus line, which is equal to 0. Here the bus will be in a low voltage state. It means that the drivers are of open collector type here. Hence, if the input to one driver is equal to 1 and the input to another driver connected to the same bus line, which is equal to 0, this indicates the bus will be in a low voltage state. In other words, the connection performs an OR function in which the logic 1 wins. Now assume that there are 2 devices A and B having the ID numbers 5 and 6 respectively that are requesting the use of the bus. Device A transmit the pattern 0101 and device B transmit the pattern 0110. The code seen by both the devices is 0111. Here each device compares the patterns on the arbitration lines to its own ID starting from the most significant bit. If it detects a difference at any bit position, then it disables its drivers at that position, that is at that bit position, and for all the lower order bits. It does so by placing a 0 at the input of these drivers. In case of our example, if a device A detects a difference on the line AR-B1 bar, hence it disables its drivers on line AR-B1 and AR-B0 bar. So this causes the pattern on the arbitration lines to change to 0, 1, 1, 0. I will repeat. Suppose consider there are two devices A and B having their ID numbers 5 and 6 respectively. They are requesting to use the bus, right? So device A transmit the pattern 0, 1, 0, 1 and device B transmit the pattern 0, 1, 1, 0. The code seen by both the devices is 0, 1, 1, 1. That is a logical OR. Okay. Here each device compares the pattern on the arbitration lines to their respective IDs or to their own IDs starting from the most significant bit. If it detects a difference at any bit position, then it disables its driver at that bit position and for all lower order bits, means it will disable the driver at that position as well as for all the lower order bits. It does so by placing a 0 at the input of these drivers. In case of our example, device A detects a difference on the line AR-B1 bar. Hence, it disables its driver on the lines AR-B1 and AR-B0 bar. So this causes the pattern on the arbitration lines to change to 0, 1, 1, 0, which means that device B has won the contention or device B has won the race. Here you can note that since the code on priority lines is 0, 1, 1, 1 for a short period and device B may temporarily disable its driver on the line AR-B0 bar. However, it will enable this driver again, then it will see 0 on the line AR-B1 bar resulting from the action by the device A. Here decentralized arbitration has the advantage of offering the highest responsibility. Decentralized in the sense distributed arbitration. It has the advantage of offering highest reliability. So it has this particular approach, that is a decentralized or distributed arbitration has the higher reliability, means it will achieve higher reliability because the operation of the bus is not dependent on any single device. Here many schemes have been proposed and used in practice to implement the distributed arbitration or decentralized arbitration. Here the SCSI bus is one of the bus which can implement or which will work on distributed arbitration. So is it clear what is the advantage of decentralized or distributed arbitration? Advantage is it will offer higher reliability because the bus operation is not dependent on any one single device like on the bus master. It is not dependent on a single device, whereas it depends on the several devices which are connected to that particular interface circuit or to that particular bus interface circuit. So that is what an advantage here. So many schemes have been proposed and they are used in practice to implement distributed arbitration or bus arbitration. So this is in detail about the bus arbitration. So in this there are two approaches. One is centralized arbitration and one more is distributed arbitration. Right? I hope the concepts are clear. So next class I am going to discuss the bus, that is different types of buses. One is synchronous bus and the asynchronous bus. So that I will discuss in detail in the next classes. Thank you.